Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And it's another beautiful day in the Pirate Broadcast, and we're bringing you interesting people doing interesting things. And the pirate community is all about a little bit of kindness, few smiles here and there. And one of the things we want to do is bring different subjects, different topics to the table and kind of expand our ability to understand what is going on in the world around us. So today I have David Johnson. David Johnson is part of a growing trend of people that are serving the community in a kind way and helping others around them. David's served in the military. He's done some great service for our country, and now he's giving back to the veteran community. And I wanted to bring him on and talk about that and what that looks like. Good morning, David. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Now you have started up a show as well. Our mutual friend Matt O'Brien, who is here in Phoenix, he's just an amazing individual that we both know, and so you've started this program out to help veterans and military service people in an amazing way. So talk a little bit about the show and what your intentions are.
Correct. So it's a passion project. I really love doing it. We're pretty new. We've been on the scene really 5 months. I think St. Patty's Day. Actually, I think the day they kind of started quarantine this year is really when we finished filming season 1, as a matter of fact. So pretty new. But yeah, we're a talk show designed with the audience, with the military and veteran audience in mind, and just to talk about all sorts of issues, provide a little bit of entertainment at times, and just get real issues out in the open and just talk, for lack of a better word. And that's just really what I wanted to do.
Yeah. It's one of the things that we have to deal with on a regular basis is I heard a number, and I'm not sure how accurate this number is. However, it's one of these things that you have to wonder. 270,000 individuals are being brought back into civilian service every year from the military, because of turnover and people coming in and out. There's a lot of people that go into the military. They may not necessarily all serve on the front line. However, they serve in some capacity. And so that's a huge number of individuals that could be part of your audience and be included in your audience.
That's true. And to expand on that a little bit, and I can't quote the stats. I used to read them and know them, but from the amount of deployments, we've been at war since 9/11, and there are still troops deployed as we speak to this day. And most people, there's kind of classifications of the era veteran, like they say the Vietnam era veteran or the World War II era veteran. This is now kind of being called the post 9/11 era veteran, and that brings its own challenges with the constant deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan and other places. And now that you mentioned, a lot of people are getting out and transitioning, and that presents its own unique challenges.
Yeah. Well, I know that Matt, and I think you're also involved in Arizona. It's a nonprofit organization that helps a lot of individuals. Yeah. And so through organizations like that and conversations like you're bringing to the table, it's a really fundamental conversation that you can have. There are people that transition out of the military, find out what they need to do or find out something that they can do, or they transition their skills that they learned in the military into civilian life. And what are some of the challenges that you're seeing and having conversations around?
The main thing, and there's stages as well. Like as an example, I've been out of the military longer than I was in. I was only in from 2000 to 2006. During that 6-year period, I had 4 deployments. I call kind of the chapters of your life. I've been out long enough to where I've been fortunate enough to where I've gone through my not knowing what the heck to do phase and kind of figuring it out. And again, I've fallen into place, I believe, for myself. I mean, still growing and every single day, but a lot of the challenges I see for the people kind of just out or in that kind of 3 to 5 year marker after being out is really the what's next, what to do next. It just sometimes it could be whole sorts of issues. I mean, you're new. I mean, think of it. Even I relate it to even some college graduates don't even know what to do after they graduate. So it's not necessarily always a bad thing. It's just you don't know what you don't know. So just kind of finding the what's next.
Yeah. And it's a journey, life is a journey. And I like the analogy you used because I use it often is chapters in the book of your life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like you write a chapter and then the next thing you have to figure out, okay, what am I going to write next? It's like,
yeah, there's different chapters. I mean, if you would ask me a year ago, would I have been down this passion project path that I'm on? I'd be like, nope, absolutely not. I don't know. I'm not going to do that. So kind of one thing leads to another, and things pop up and happen, and that's what life's all about.
So what's your secret? What's your secret superpower that nobody knows about? And David Johnson and some of the things you're bringing to the table are unique. So
secret superpower, I don't have one, but if I had to make one up,
now's your opportunity.
Yeah, I have different identities. I call it, like I'm a father. I'm a soldier. I'm an entrepreneur. I think I've been through so many failures as an entrepreneur that I guess a secret. I kind of see I kind of know intuitively what doesn't work immediately. I'm not saying I know what works. You still got to test and figure it out. But I can kind of say like instinctively, I'm like, no, that's just not. I just kind of feel that's not going to work, and I'm not going to go down that path. It's just kind of like a feeling I get. Not sure if that's a superpower or not, but
that is truly a superpower, because some people just say, "Hey, I'm just gonna push through it. I know there's a light at the end of this tunnel, and it's not the train this time."
Many years of failure has given me that superpower.
Yeah, I think that's a great superpower. So what's the first entrepreneurial journey that you experienced or you remember experiencing?
The first one, I mean, it started in high school. My buddy Tony and I would go to Costco and buy Gatorade and water and sell it outside the swap meet.
That's a great one.
And that was back in high school. We would, here in Phoenix, you live in Phoenix, obviously some houses have their addresses on the curb. In high school, we'd go around and paint addresses on the curb. But so I've always been kind of in that realm. Then when I joined the military, got out of the military, and then in 2008 or 9, I don't remember exactly, I kind of launched my first real company. And then September of 2011, I shut it down. I'm sorry, September of 2010, I shut it down. So ran it for about two and a bit years. At our peak, we had 12 employees. We were a tech startup. No clue what I was doing, just in all honesty. But that was the launching pad, if you will, and learned a lot of lessons from it. So.
Well, that's how you get experience. You venture in outside your comfort zone, you expand it a little bit, and then you figure it out along the way. And that's probably taught you a lot about having conversations with the military in your current, the David Johnson show. It's really something that you can actually articulate some ideas, share some thoughts, and actually interview some people that are doing some great work out there. I have to believe that that's the case.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I literally nothing to add. You nailed it. You hit it. That's exactly it.
So here we go. Guess who's in the room?
Hey, there's Matt.
Hey, hello, Matt. Russ and David. Amen. Chapters in your life. Absolutely. Absolutely. We got Wendy here in the room. Wendy's in from the Facebook. We got Kathy Spooner. She's in from LinkedIn. Great conversation, Wendy says. I want to step back a little bit because I did not serve. I was at the age where it was right at the end of the Vietnam War and the draft I missed the draft by, I don't know, just barely. I'm of that vintage. And so my experience is slightly different than your experience. And I know that serving tours and military has a huge impact on so many. And, when just, you just pack up your bags and take off and you're gone for a year, that has to make a huge impact on your family and your life. And what are some of the experiences that you want to help out others get through, I guess, or get past, or what's this journey look like longer term for the David Johnson Show as you go through a couple more seasons?
Loaded question. Give me a split second to gather my thoughts. I mean, so many ways to answer that. First and foremost, you're 100% right. We talk about that on the show, and how it affects the family, how it affects the individual. And there's this whole new concept around, mental health and the stigma around it, and actually asking for help and reaching out and admitting what you're going through. So a couple buckets when you talk about, you ask about what the future. So, the show's the show. We have 10 episodes in season 1, call it. And each episode's, anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. We're already planning season 2. The show's really my passion, what I like, bringing guests on, telling the stories, having that conversation, much like we're doing now. So that's always going to go on, and I'll just keep getting better and better, and we'll just keep producing that show. And then down the road, phase 2 and phase 3 of this launching early next year will then be also bringing certain resources to the table, maybe even certain courses to the table to teach veterans about entrepreneurship, business, finance, other things of that nature. And then, like I said, bring other resources to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think it sounds to me, David, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds to me like a passion project where you just want to give back. You're at a point where in your life where life hasn't been terrible to you. You're not sleeping under the bridge. You got some food on the table. You got some things, your lights on in the house, and you want to give back. And so many of us really don't know how to do it. So I applaud your efforts and energy into putting a show together that's starting the conversation, because I think that's really where it starts. And that's kind of like the Pirate Broadcast. I want to put out the fact that this is not the news. This is not doom and gloom. There's a lot of people doing some good stuff here, and you're one of them. So I just want to applaud you for your efforts and your energy that you're going in here and starting the conversation, because that's what it's about.
Yeah, well, number one, thank you. Number two, I've been blessed to, like I said, 10 minutes ago, I'm a full-time entrepreneur, and I have been since 2009. Just my personal definition of an entrepreneur is you rely on yourself, or a small team to generate your income. You don't produce, you don't eat dinner. But for many nights, I assure you, I did not eat dinner. But June of 2015, I opened up the company that I still own and operate today. Knock on wood, we're doing well. I mean, even with coronavirus, we took some hits, but we're doing well. So yeah, to your point, this project is self-funded. I enjoy it. It's pure passion, and that's why I'm able to do it. Wake up early mornings, late nights, whatever have you. So it's been fun.
And I encourage everyone to go check out the David Johnson Show. He's on YouTube as well. And I got to give hats off to Matt, and I'm going to interrogate Matt later, because your YouTube statistics are phenomenal. And also the fact that it's like, I have been an advocate for years. I've been an entrepreneur and, teaching people on podcasting and broadcasting and all of these different activities. And I believe that you are the media, meaning that anyone that wants to take the initiative to share their story, share their gifts, and share some valuable information with the community could pick up a phone and start producing content. And I think it's important for us to understand that our experiences, David, allow us to share that experience in a way that can help somebody else see a new perspective.
Uh,
And I think one of the things that you really bring to the table is opening up that opportunity for somebody that's younger or less experienced or not quite in out of transition period to see that, man, I can do that. And it brings me chills to think that, people like yourself in this passion project open up a new dimension to somebody else's life. And if you could touch just a few people every season and do something good, I mean, that's what it's all about.
I feel I'm the 15-year younger version of you. Everything you just said is what I feel. I can't articulate it as good as you. Number one. Number two, big shout out to Matt O'Brien at Mint Social. As you mentioned, our YouTube statistics, we would not be here without him. And, he was also a guest on the show and talks about what you talked about a little bit about being an influencer on online and messaging. But yeah, everything you just said is like the message I'm trying to get out. I need to call me later and I need to hear that again. So, but that's
no kidding. And realistically, we are in a position, and we meaning the community, any community, we are in a position to do exactly what you're doing in our own way. Your production is spot on. I love your scene. I love the way you're put together. I love everything that you're doing. And I just wanted to bring you on and highlight you and say, thank you for helping out in the community. It's deserved, it's needed. And thanks for stepping up and doing what you're doing, because it's really it brings value to the world. And anytime you can bring value to the world, we can't run out of abundance in that area. So I just want to give you a shout out for that.
Well, thank you very much. That truly means a lot.
Yeah. I want to shift gears a little bit. This entrepreneurial journey, and a lot of pirates are in the entrepreneurial space. One right here that's also in Phoenix is Howard Kaufman. Howard, I have to give you a shout out today. I've been slammed the last couple of weeks, and I want to talk to you. Howard's a startup here in Phoenix. He's doing some great stuff in the in toothpaste and mouthwash, and it's very unique.
Wow.
Very it's amazing. It's amazing. And so I want to get him on the show as well. And one of the things, like with Matt and yourself and Howard here, and there's a lot of amazing entrepreneurs that are not yet connected, and building a community around that, I think is important, because I don't know about you, sometimes it can be very lonely in the entrepreneurial space. You can be in a crowded room and feel alone. You ever get that sensation?
100% all the time, for sure.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think I want to bring to the Pirate Broadcast is the pirate community, where we can actually kind of huddle together at times in different capacities and different ways, and let each other know that, hey, I'm down or I'm up, I had a win or I had a loss. And it's like a kind of a thing that you can actually offer assistance to other people. And I don't know what it looks like. I don't know exactly what it's going to end up being. However, I think that there's a lot of, and I've been in mentor groups and mastermind groups and different communities like that. And it's just, I think it's so important for entrepreneurs and mental health to be able to pull these resources together, where you can actually have a safe place to say, my day's sucking really hard right now, and I just need somebody to vent to, and it's kind of, one of the things that I see about the David Johnson show with the military is it's like people can relate. They understand when they're talking to somebody that's been deployed. I can't speak to that because I don't have that experience, but you have that experience. So It's kind of like, for me, it's entrepreneurial journey, because I've been, doing the entrepreneurial thing for years. And like yourself, it's like, and there's just that loneliness that you feel. So talk a little bit about that and the journey on the entrepreneurial side versus the military side.
Well, I mean, to your point, definitely military can relate to military better. I could talk to somebody about my 3 tours in Iraq and driving through the streets of Baghdad. But if somebody's actually done it, obviously there's going to be that relation, that relationship on a deeper level. And same with entrepreneurship. I mean, and nothing wrong with not being an entrepreneur by any means.
No,
but,
not at all.
Yeah, but if nobody, it's hard to, if nobody's ever had to go out and sell their own product or service, get a customer to say, hey, buy my product or service, there's different challenges that go into that. So how, if nobody's ever done that, and I'll take my brother as an example. I love my brother to death. One of my best friends, he lives in Houston, Texas. He went corporate America route. And he's in literally the senior management of a publicly traded $70 billion company. I can't relate to that. I don't even know what that means. I literally can't even tie a tie, literally. And, I can't, I love hearing his stories, but when I told him, hey, I'm about to launch this website and let me tell you the challenges I have. And I have to go get a customer. I have to go get a customer for my product or service. And I had to put together the this and the that and how it all works and the messaging. And, he can't relate. He loves hearing my stories, but, so
they're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. But I don't even know if I answered your question there, but that's, entrepreneurs can definitely relate to entrepreneurs a lot better.
Yeah. Sherry Lawley says she has slap tags. She's done a lot in the construction and healthcare industry, and she has a company that does a lot of great work. Absolutely true, she says. I just got the chills, Matthew O'Brien. I just got the chills from what you two are sharing. Thanks, Matt. That means a lot. Great definition and so true, Kathy. Says Jill Sullivan, who's an amazing individual. She's a chef. She's doing some great work all the time. Thank you so much, Jill, for being here. Jordan, a creative student in California, doing some amazing work as well. Asan, what is this? This is the Pirate Broadcast, brought to you 5 days a week, 7 a.m. in the morning, Arizona time. Thanks for your service, David. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One of the things that I want to talk about is this idea that giving back to the community. A lot of people struggle with that. And, you can donate money and you can, give to some charities and things like that. And there's a lot of different ways that people can give back to the community. And I know by doing your passion project, that's giving back to the community. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs give back to the community. So what are some, I know Arizona is one organization that is doing a lot of great work as well. What are some other ways that we can support the military community from your perspective? Because I know a lot of us struggle with that. It's like, what do you say? What do you do? Who do you help?
I struggled with that too. For many years, I personally just did one-on-one mentoring, and I was very one-on-one type, and that's how I gave back. But if somebody really does want to support the veteran community, honestly, I'll start asking people, because there are so many organizations out there to where if you just start Googling stuff, you're probably going to be inundated with information. VSOs, we call them veteran service organizations. At one point in time, I read the stats years ago. I mean, it was like 600,000 VSOs in America.
Yeah.
Between the nonprofit scene and so everybody has some connection to the military, whether it's a neighbor who had an uncle or my uncle served or a friend or something like that. But if that is something you want to give back to the veteran community, really start looking in your close inner circle and see what other people are doing, because chances are there's a connection there somewhere.
Yeah, that's great advice. So what's a big idea that you've discovered in your entrepreneurial journey that you'd want to share with any individual that's thinking about starting a company, or maybe has already started a company and needs to think a little bigger? Because I think one of the things that is a limiting factor on a lot of entrepreneurs today is they can only see the results based on their previous experience.
Mm.
And there's so many more opportunities. If you start looking around, there's so many opportunities out there. Even right now during COVID, I see so many opportunities. I don't have time to generate all of these ideas. However, I still see them, and I'm thinking to myself, other entrepreneurs have to see it this way, because that's kind of what is the DNA of our inside of us, is like, there's an opportunity. If somebody did this, they could go do X, Y, and Z. Have you ever experienced that? And what would you want to share and impart to people that are thinking about being an entrepreneur today?
That's a great question. I might dance around this for 45 seconds before
You can dance around. Take a minute or two
before I even attempt to answer the question. But I can speak for me, from my standpoint, real quick. I mentioned I had a tech startup, 2008 to 2010 timeframe, and I didn't really know what an entrepreneur meant back then. I thought to myself at the time, if I don't have a tech startup and take it public for $1 billion, then I'm not an entrepreneur. Well, that's just the wrong answer. I was just so caught up in one scene, one industry. All my friends were in the tech scene, so I thought I had to create some online Facebook and go public in order to be an entrepreneur. Where again, the second that company failed, and I didn't get out of bed for 3 days, and I finally stood up and dusted myself off. It was like, well, do I even want to, what industry what do I even want out of a business? I mean, so again, entrepreneur can mean many different things. You could have your own company and generate $80,000 a year in revenue, and you're an entrepreneur. And you know what? That's great. Awesome. Yeah. Or you could have your own company and generate $1 million a year in revenue, and great. Or you could take a company public for $1 billion. All of those are entrepreneurs. So, I wrote a blog on this. Actually, it's on the davidjohnsonshow.com under blog. I'm doing a 4-part series on entrepreneurship, but one of that is really define what type of an entrepreneur you want to be and match that to your lifestyle. And then once you match that to your lifestyle, then you just got to put, all the pieces of the puzzle in place. And one of those is the business model. How are you actually going to generate revenue? How does the scale of that revenue look like? Can this scale to be a multi-million-dollar revenue stream, or is this going to be a $100,000 revenue stream? Either way, nothing wrong with that, but just understand what you want out of that, and then match that to your lifestyle and your personality. I don't work hard. I'll never work hard enough to take a company public for $1 billion. It's not going to happen. Yeah, but that's fine.
That's fine. I have no desire to do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's
fine. Well, and I think the big point that you bring to the table, and I want to unpack it before we wrap up, is you have to decide what you're willing to sacrifice, because the 24 hours in every day are the limiting factor for everyone across the board. And you're unwilling to sacrifice what it takes to go public and make $1 billion company, because that's a big sacrifice. That's a huge sacrifice. And there's a lot of focus that has to be invested in that activity. Yeah. However, you can have a very balanced life and a very productive, career in entrepreneurship by, you can, almost anything you could create and, build a small team of individuals that are doing some great work out there, building a product or a service and putting things out into the world and have a very productive company. And that's the other side of the entrepreneurial space. So I love the diversity in our choice to do what we want. But I think it starts from, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to focus on? And what brings you joy every day? So
true. And to go, $1 billion company, you have to have $1 billion idea, and I'm just not that smart. So it won't happen.
Well, I've had more failures than most people have startups, so I can relate to that.
Yeah, Matt chimes in with freelance vets. That's a good buddy of mine who I served in the military with. I've known him for 20 years, Jason Sheehan. He started that company to help provide jobs and freelance jobs, mainly, obviously, hence the name, for the military spouse, military and veteran community. Great website, great company.
That's fantastic. And Wendy says, thank you for your service.
Thank you, Wendy.
Another Wendy says, oh, pirates, what great words of wisdom. We are fed by Chef Russ and Pirate Posse daily. And then Wendy says, what do you want? What you want is bigger than what others tell you that you should want. Interesting. I love that. Yeah. So you can't really, and then Kathy says, great feedback about entrepreneurship. Had a small business for 14 years. The last 3 were hard. I'm finally at a point to see all of the invaluable learning I got from that and how excited to get back into it. You know, sometimes we get beat up. Like the song says, sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug, right?
All right.
So, David, this has been a pleasure. I'm glad that we got to hang out and talk about some of these important subjects. And thank you again for your service and some of the things that you're doing in the community. And everyone, if you're not connected, reach out to David, connect with him. Where's the best place to connect with you, and how do we connect with you, David?
TheDavidJohnsonShow.com. There's all contact information there. You can subscribe to our newsletter. You can contact us, reach out. All the information is on there. Very much appreciate being on. This has been a great talk, Russ. I'm telling you, you're a little bit slightly not much older version than me. You've just learned how to articulate everything clearly. Everything you said, I feel in my heart. I just gotta learn how to say it better.
You're well on your way, David, and I applaud your efforts and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And for those that are joining us and those that are live or watching the replay, all the gratitude in the world for what you're doing. Being part of the pirate community is important. We have so much to give back to the world and so many things that we can do together. So continue to share, like, comment, all the internet things that, you know, make it worthwhile. Please support the community and each other in your journey. And, you know, kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And you enjoy the day. Take care, David.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
Don't go away. We'll be back soon. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.